never grew up thinking I was going to be a dean. I didn't go to school thinking I would be a dean. I actually went to school thinking I was going to write. I remember in grade 1 saying I was going to be an author, but I was almost a first grade dropout because I couldn't skip, I couldn't run in. And my sister actually, when I stayed home with a stomachache and wouldn't go to school, my older sister, who's 7 years older, discovered that it was because I couldn't run in, and she taught me to skip. And that changed the whole outcome.
She's a healer more than just in her chosen profession, but she is one who can bring people together to reach consensus around very, very difficult issues, who can make clarity out of a very, very complex situation, no matter what it is. She's done remarkable work. We are so lucky to have had her as our leader for so long, and I'm truly going to miss her.
When I was appointed as dean, I think that some of my colleagues were a little worried about what would this family doctor know about basic science, and would she really be committed to research and those sorts of things. Well, in fact, I had a biochemistry degree myself. I'm very committed to research, but a lot of what I did in the first few months was building trust and establishing my credentials to be dean by doing, not by talking about it, but by doing.
I remember very clearly the day that I heard that Carol was appointed as the new dean of the medical school at Western. I did this loud cheer. I was very excited. We were going to have a woman dean, a family physician as a dean, and a dean who was a doctor with a strong commitment to feminism and social activism as demonstrated in her activities and writing prior to that time.
So the things I admire about Carol are her inspired leadership, her genuine interest and commitment to mentorship of individuals across all stages of their career, her passion for people and the things she does, and her great sense of humor.
The thing I will miss most about Dean Herbert is her kindness and generosity. Dean Herbert is always willing to get involved in many student activities and support us, including Hungry for Change, Global Health, Tacky Karaoke, and many more. I know myself and many, many students are going to miss Dean Herbert.
As a dean, what one does is one tries to prepare the field so that the educators and scholars can do their best possible work. And the joy comes from having a student or a faculty member reach beyond what I could ever have imagined.
She really touches on every one of us in our personal life as well. And I'm not just talking about that we know that she reads her email almost like 24/7. That somehow you know that she's always keeping tab of what we have to tell her. But just this feeling that she's always keeping a watchful eye on every one of us.
I first met Carol when she was being interviewed for selection for dean. And she had flown in from BC and she was exhausted. She spent an arduous day going from interview to interview to interview to interview. And finally, at the very end of the day, she came to see me. She'd ask a question, her eyelids would close, but I knew she was still aware. And at the end of the half hour, she walked down the hall, and I said to myself, I really want to work with that lady. Not only could she have a half hour of interesting discussion on mundane topics, but she could combine that with a power nap.
She has a wonderful mix of values and pragmatism. One of the Herbertisms I've learned is this the hill I'd like to die on?
I first got to know Dean Herbert really in my third year when I served as Hippocratic Council President. And I have to say she was fantastic to work with. She was very proactive in terms of making sure that we met one-on-one, about once a month, about any student issues that were going on. And the other thing that really impressed me about her was her attendance at pretty much every medical student event that we had throughout the year, which was very impressive from a very, very busy dean here at Schulich.
Every girl wants you to be permanent, but I'll wait, my dear, till it's my turn. I'm not the kind of girl who gives up just like that. Oh no!
Carol rocks.
I can best describe Carol as an endless ball of energy. Things never stood still in the dean's office, and it was as if we were always running to try and catch up with her. Two of the characteristics I admire most of Carol: her genuine interest and compassion for people, and her respect of others.
One of the things that I admire most about Carol is that she always knows that thanks are in order and makes sure that she thanks staff and faculty. And of course, we'll all do anything she wants when she does that for us.
Physicians, like deans, are servant leaders, and we have the opportunity and the obligation to leave the world better than the way we found it.
When I think about Carol and the many things that she has done for me and for our faculty, I think of someone who's collaborative, I think of someone who's creative, I think of someone who's very supportive, and I'm going to miss her so very, very much. In fact, I miss her already, and she hasn't left yet.
I have had the blessing throughout my career of having people around me who ensure that I do more than work. I have a husband who is incredibly supportive. I have children who have been extraordinary supporters throughout my life, who've been wonderful people to watch grow and to nurture as a parent. That's probably the major place where I have ensured balance in the interests of ensuring that I could be a good parent.
Of course, I wish her nothing but the best, and I hope she has many years of joy that she derives from those grandchildren, and from knowing that she's done that she basically has done a job extremely well, and basically influenced probably, an entire generation of doctors in a very favorable manner. So I think she had very high standards and ethics, and it was an honor and a privilege to be associated with her.
Like you, I do not know exactly what my future will bring, but I too look forward to creating my future as you will create your own futures. I know that I will take with me as one of my most cherished memories the time that I've spent with students here. Because we are a school, that's what universities are, and that's what we do in the Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry. We are a school, and our major product as a school are our graduates, and we are so very proud of you. Congratulations to you and to the loved ones who've supported you throughout your journey. You've truly earned the right to be called doctor. Thank you very much.
What's next for me? I intend to write and to continue to work internationally, continue to be involved with as many activities as I can possibly cram into a day, but also to take some time to smell the roses. We travel, we love traveling, and I think that my experience in other countries reinforces for me the importance of connection. When I look at families in all parts of the world, and when I look at the difficulties of families and communities in all parts of the world, I celebrate being a Canadian and having the blessing of living in a country where we can be anything we want to be. That was what I was taught as a child, was I could be anything I wanted to be.